Hi, everyone, and welcome. It's In the Trenches, Eagles insider Dave Spadaro, along with Brian Westbrook, the Hall of Famer, and we're trying to figure out where it all went wrong for Jim Schwartz's defense on Sunday against the Carolina Panthers. Brian, for 3 quarters, absolute dominance, and then the Panthers reel off touchdown drives of 80 and 87, 69, I mean, whatever. The 3 straight down the field, in-your-face drives to win the game, and a 2-point conversion.
Yes.
The most unraveling of 15 minutes that we've seen in a long time, even worse than Tennessee a few weeks ago.
For 3 quarters, you're right. You didn't allow the Panthers team to gain any confidence. You didn't allow them to get movement down the field consistently. That's what you do defensively. You shut them out. And they didn't allow Cam Newton and that offense to get going at all. Christian McCaffrey was non-existent. That's what you want to do defensively. Now, what happened in the 4th quarter was you're up 17. Defense gets a little lackadaisical. They give a little bit more cushion on the outside. And in my opinion, when you do that, you allow open access to receivers. So that 5-yard slant, he catches easy, not contested as far as the throw. And now the pressure can't get home to Cam because he's getting the ball out so fast. Now defensively, you're allowing, because of those completions, that confidence to come back for an offense that had no confidence all day. So now if you're Cam Newton, you're saying, hey, I had a couple seconds to throw that ball. I completed the 5-yard route. Maybe I'll hold it for a couple more seconds. Maybe I can get an 8, 10, 12-yard route down the field. That confidence continued to snowball, and now defensively, we have no confidence. And fortunately for Jim Schwartz and his defense, you just can't do that week in and week out. A lot of the same mistakes for us.
Is that what is meant when you say taking your foot off the gas pedal, that you've maybe mentally or even schematically just lessened the pressure just a little bit?
Well, again, we talk about this on offense, start fast, finish strong, but stay aggressive all game long. This team is built to be aggressive. They're not a passive type of defense. They're an attacking type of defense. And if I'm the defensive coordinator, I never get away from attacking an offense. I get out there offense until it's 0-0-0-0 on the scoreboard, because at that time I know the game is over. I attack. Being passive is not one of the strengths of this defense.
Do you think that this loss will serve as a lessons kind of game for a coaching staff, or do coaches just kind of fall back to what they've always known?
Every game, win, lose, or draw, is a lesson. And for me, what I saw last year was a team that, even in their wins, and they had a bunch of them last year, they got better every single week. This year, what I'm seeing is a team, wins and losses, that they're still making the same mistakes the next week. That's a big-time problem for football teams throughout the league. That doesn't give me the confidence and the faith that I had last year in this football team.
Brian, the front four was so dominant for much of the game on Sunday against the Panthers. Do you still believe that that group is going to be playing at a high level the rest of the season? There's enough gas in that tank?
Yeah. The problem, and this is what we saw last year, we saw a front four that had a lot of depth. That means when the starters were in there, they were getting after the quarterback. You know, a couple plays into the game, they're subbed out. The second string unit getting after the quarterback did a great job. This year, we're seeing a defensive front that the starters are doing a decent job. I mean, decent job at getting after the quarterback. But there's no depth there. And so when they come out, the depth is not, the second string unit is not getting to the quarterback in the same way. Then when the starters come back, they're not as good as they were at the beginning of the game. And so I think conditioning may be part of the issue. Obviously, depth is part of the issue. They have to be able to get after the quarterback. And right now, they're not doing a very good job of it.
On the back end, it's a secondary riddled with injuries to the point where Dexter McDougal, signed off the streets on Tuesday, is the starting
Played a lot.
nickel cornerback for this defense. And while he didn't appear to make any obvious errors, teams will see him, teams will study him, teams will attack him. They will look for his weaknesses moving forward. How do you overcome this lack of kind of frontline players in the secondary?
Yeah, you have to have a sense of urgency. How we overcame it last year, obviously, was a pass rush. I think defensively, especially secondary-wise, you stay up in front and you stay up in these guys' face, be aggressive. Darby got beat on the sluggo. Happens when you're aggressive, you get beat sometimes. That was a big touchdown, especially going in there. I think McDougal played pretty decently. He didn't allow too many passes down the field. There was a couple plays. 4th and 10, the ball that was completed to Torrey Smith. I think Jalen Mills actually was in good position before he tripped. Unfortunately, he got his feet tangled. He fell down. Torrey Smith ends up catching the football. At that point, make the tackle. You're telling your team throughout the entire game, be aggressive, be nasty. You have to be able to make the tackle. There was too many opportunities where they were getting yards after the catch in the fourth quarter alone that just let our defense down. Last year, that didn't happen. They were aggressive, and they were rallying to the football. This year, it's not the same.
I think if you're Jim Schwartz, you're probably looking at this in a couple of different ways. Number one, the first 3 quarters, dominant defense.
Yes.
Guys, we can still be a dominant defense. We just need to do it over the course of 60 minutes, week in and week out. And then the other side, you go, boy, was that 15 minutes, the final 15 minutes we saw, is that what we're closer to? I mean, which Eagles defense, Brian, is the real Eagles defense, the 3 quarters or the 15 minutes?
Well, I mean, you have 3 quarters, and I think that's the Eagles defense. But if you're the coach, I mean, at some point you get them on the sideline, and I'm sure Jim Schwartz did this. You get them on the sideline and say, guys, we're going to be aggressive. We gave up 1 touchdown. Now it's 17-6. We're going right back to being aggressive. It's an actual game at this point. Continue to be aggressive. Don't allow that team to have any confidence at all. When you allow them to have a little confidence, you leave the door open for that football team. And we saw how they ended up for us yesterday.
Yeah, so it's I don't even know what's it. Michael Bennett, outstanding game.
Best game of his career here in Philadelphia.
Malcolm Jenkins looked like he was around the football
Yes.
quite a bit. And so the Eagles, a lot to build on here, but ultimately overcoming the disappointment of a loss to Carolina is what still sticks in the mouths of everybody. And it's a tough day here at the NovaCare Complex. Brian Westbrook, Dave Spadaro, thanks for joining us in the trenches.